Hey, Treasure History. Today's essential question is, where were the major river valley civilizations located? And also, what were these civilizations like? Let's just put the title at the top, River Valley Civilizations. And let's make our notebook page look like this with the 4 boxes. Please press pause to make your paper look like that. We have 4 key points today, one about each of the 4 riverine civilizations we've learned about. Riverine means supported by a river. First, we need to know where each civilization is located. Please use EMIC and fill in the names of each civilization with the correct blank. Your choices are Mesopotamia, Egypt, China, and India. Now answer these multiple choice questions to tell us which river goes with each civilization. Great job! Remember to always write EMIC on this type of map to help you. So why did these 4 great civilizations grow up next to rivers? Well, rivers provide the important natural resources that were necessary for human settlement. Now let's identify the important characteristics of each civilization. We'll start with key point 1, Egypt. Egyptians depended on the Nile's regular flooding, which happened once every year. The flooded Nile left silt or black land for farming. Egyptians also used the Nile to trade with Nubia, their neighbors to the south. Egyptians wrote in hieroglyphics. The only reason we can read hieroglyphics today is that archaeologists found the Rosetta Stone. They decoded the hieroglyphics by comparing them to the Greek letters, which we already knew how to read. Egyptian religion was polytheistic, and much of their religion involved preparing for death and the afterlife. Please copy these key details about Egypt into your box for key point 1. Please pause for more time to copy. Alright, let's move on to key point number 2. This is about Mesopotamia, or the Fertile Crescent. This land was so fertile because of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. Silt from these rivers allowed people to farm and for city-states to grow. Mesopotamian city-states were walled cities who governed themselves independently, like a country. Mesopotamian writing was called cuneiform, and it looks like triangles and sticks. A famous early example of cuneiform is Hammurabi's Code, which is one of the first sets of written laws in history. Today you can find one of the real stone tablets from Hammurabi's Code in a museum in Paris, which is why you see Mr. Heron standing next to it. Mesopotamians were polytheistic, and they worshipped at ziggurats in the blue temple at the very top of the building. Please copy those key details about Mesopotamia in your box for key point 2. Pause for more time to copy. Now for number 3 on the map, which is the Indus River Valley. In the Indus Valley, the river that supported them was the Indus River, so that's easy to remember. Another important river in this region is the Ganges. The Ganges, as you can see, runs underneath the Himalayas or south of the Himalayas. Both the Indus and the Ganges are important holy rivers in the religion of Hinduism. Hinduism began in the Indus Valley and then moved to the rest of India. It's still the most commonly practiced religion in India today. Buddhism also started in India and moved to East Asia through trade. The first major cities in the Indus Valley were Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa. These cities are remembered for their urban planning, with a great bath and a citadel in the middle of the city, plus a sewer system and 2-story houses. We don't know how to read the writing of the ancient Indus Valley, but we know they had pictographs that look like this. These pictograph seals were used for trade. Please copy these key details into your box for key point 3. This key point here about the Aryans are the name of the European people that migrated to the Indus Valley in very ancient times and were thought to have been the people who sort of started the religion of Hinduism. So if you see Aryans, think Hinduism. Now for number 4 on the map, China. The important rivers here are the Huanghe and the Yangtze. The Huanghe is also called the Yellow River or the River of Sorrows because it often flooded and destroyed homes, which it still does today. People in ancient China mostly farmed rice. They used terrace farming to farm in the mountains, and they still do today. The Chinese government was a monarchy. Kings held power in dynasties, passing power from father to son. The kings told their people that the gods chose them. This idea was called the Mandate of Heaven. The Mandate of Heaven also said that the gods would take bad kings out of power. One powerful emperor, Shi Huangdi, started the Great Wall, which divided China from Mongolia. It was a man-made barrier to protect China from invasion. China was also isolated by natural barriers, the Himalayas, the Pacific Ocean, and the Gobi Desert. As a result, Chinese society was very isolated from other places. On the other hand, China also opened its borders to trade through the Silk Road. China was the only civilization who could make silk in the entire world, so they made a lot of money sending silk throughout Asia all the way to Europe. Please copy these details in your key point box for China. Please pause if you need more time to copy. If you're done copying your key points, go ahead and get started on your packet for today. Remember that the more you get done in class correctly, the less homework you have tonight. This is a long one, so I would work quickly but also work well, and just know that I have 25 questions, which is more than normal. But we got to cover each civilization. Go ahead and get started.